Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome. How are we doing tonight? Lester, I have not seen you in a very long time. I hope you're doing well. Hello, hello. Hopefully, we'll get some people brave enough to come on camera so we're not talking to a bunch of names. There we go. Hello. It's just us. Don't worry. We're gonna have fun. How are you doing? Where are you all located? Hello, Lester. It's been a long time since I've seen your face. All right. Where's everyone located? Feel free to share. This is our travel around the U.S. as quick as possible time. I'm located, and so is Laura, in Boca Raton, Florida, and Maria's in St. Louis, Missouri. Let's see. Hello, hello. I see a lot of familiar names. It's not working. You guys can't type at all in the chat? Really? Oh no, that's not good.
Do
We're
we
having
have
some
to
issues.
allow something on our end or something?
No.
No?
Zoom changed everything on us today, guys. So we're discovering things as we go here. This chat thing is not fun, the changes they made. So
Is it working now? Can you try now?
oh,
Yeah.
All
excellent.
right, there we go.
Thank you.
All right, so where are you located? Let's find out. Oh, I'm getting PMs. That's where they were all ending up. Okay. Los Angeles. All right, here you go. I think you should be good now. Okay. Tampa, Tampa. Oh, two Tampas. Wow, look at that. I am actually marketing a deal in St. Pete right now. Portland, hi. It's good to see you again, Cindy. Coral Gables. Yes, you're not far from me at all. I moved back to the other side, Lester. I'm back on this side now. Um, Charlotte, North Carolina, Hi, Leanne, Northern Virginia. Okay, all right. Laura, you ready?
Yeah,
Any
great. Well, welcome
people?
everybody here today. And we are going to be hosting this. It's going to be super quick. It's live, by the way. We're live. It's what is it? Wednesday, July 9th. So I just want to make sure because a lot of people there, they're just live, but they're not. And then Liz and Maria are going to be here today to also host this information webinar. So this is more information, guys. Okay, so it's not as much as tactics and strategies. So if you start asking how to get leads and this and that, this is not what it's about. There is a whole different thing. We're going to talk about that in our time. But this is about what's happening in 2025, right? Well, we're going to call out the elephant in the room here because a lot of you are wondering, are sitting on the sidelines and say, is real estate even something I should be thinking about? And we want to really bring you some true value here to make that decision. So, Liz?
Yeah, I'm ready. All right,
Okay.
so we do, though, I will say this. The more interactive you are, the more information you're going to get. We tend to, it's like when you're in a room, if you're talking to a bunch of people that don't talk back and have no responses, then you don't really know, it's not as good. So I will say, just interact, feel free to share. If you stay on till the end, we are going to give away a free gift to everyone that stays on. We're going to actually give you action plans to leave through if you stay until the very end as well, so that you kind of know how to do a few deals in the next couple of weeks. All right. So, moving in, one thing I do want to offer though is a freebie right off the bat is our 7 Simple Steps ebook. I don't know if you have this ebook. This is a very robust ebook. It has a lot of information. It talks about the steps of getting into it, how to find leads, and things like that. So it's a very good ebook. My team's going to put the link in the chat so that you can grab it, or into the comments so that you can grab it. And but it's a very good ebook, very thorough. All right, so let's talk about you. So I would love to know. Oh, good, Diane. She said she just downloaded it. I would love to know who is new to real estate and who has already done some deals. And while you're doing that, also, what has you interested in real estate? All right, I see new. Anyone else? New, okay. Keep going. New, new, new. Lester, I don't know if you're new per se. I don't think you're new, but I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. All right, new. Anyone else? All right, so we got a lot of new. That's fine. Okay, so then let's talk about my mentors and friends, just hanging around the right people. Okay, new as in never done it, but I want to invest for family. Okay, now what are you interested in? Like, why real estate? Out of all the careers and all the things you could do in the world, why real estate? Why are you here tonight? Besides, like, duh, Liz, I'm trying to find out info. Let's see what they say. To quit my job. It will not be extinct. Yeah, everyone's always going to need a home. It's never going anywhere, no matter what. Relatively safe it is. Once you know what to do, I mean, it is safe. You will always be able to make money, right? You will always be able to build wealth. I see more income. You have always had an interest, right? Let's act on that, right? Financial freedom to be those in service to my family and those in need to make a good living and be able to travel. Yeah. So one more question I have for you. Why aren't you in it already? What has been the challenge for you? Entrepreneurship, somehow I've always said there's generational wealth. There is. Okay. Fear, lack of knowledge. What else? Lack of knowledge, mindset. Yes, mindset's a big one. Honestly, I tell people it's 90% of this business is mindset. Lack of funds and fear. Fear, yep, not knowing where to start. Okay, you guys can keep writing in as we do this. So we're gonna move forward. I just
Can
like to
I
get to
ask one
know.
thing? No,
Yeah.
can I ask one thing? Can you elaborate more what fear you have? What type of fear? Is it fear
Fear, lack of
of
knowledge.
getting yourself into trouble? Is fear of what?
That it won't work out. Deals don't go to the end, not making the right moves, more debt. What else? No guidance.
Okay, I want to
Okay.
address what Latoya said, that it won't work out. Do you mean it won't work out for you? Because it's obviously working out for other people, right? I mean, you hear and you see real estate investors. And I want to be blunt here. I want to kind of call it out because I know a lot of you have this, but you have not been addressing it. And so let's put it to rest, right? So if it
I
won't work
love
out for
blunt. They
you,
said I love blunt. I love blunt.
why wouldn't it work out for you, right?
Yeah.
One of my
And I
favorite
think
quotes
that's good.
One
Go
of my
ahead.
favorite quotes is by Tony Robbins. He says, find somebody who has done it, has been successful, you do the same thing, and you'll be successful as well. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. This business has been around for
Yeah.
many, many years, right? So that's the thing. If you have any fear or doubts, find somebody who doesn't have to be us, but find somebody who has been successful, follow what they do, and you'll be successful as well. You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Definitely. I think a lot of fear too, it stems from it works for other people, but it might not work for me. Or the follow through. I won't follow through on it and I will let myself down again, right? Or I might stumble into issues that I can't get myself out of, right? So we'll talk a lot about that tonight because I really believe for what I'm seeing. I mean, obviously I'm just seeing very quick answers, but I talk to a lot of women, Laura, Maria, we all do it. And it's very much a fear of 90% of our students doing deals or not. It does come to their mindset. It really does come down to fears, worries, getting on the phone. I'll address that later. Who is like, I don't ever want to make a phone call. Like it would be really nice to never have to cold call a single person. I am a millennial. I love a text message. So it's like, yeah, exactly. So we'll talk about that. So remind me later if I don't bring it up of how we can get around that because I am a fellow introvert. People don't believe that, but I am. I'm a fellow introvert. So if I can get around making a cold call, I'm going to do it. Even Laura drives her nuts because she's like, "Can I just call you?" I'm like, "Is this textable? Can we put this in an email?" Like I will do that. So we'll talk about that tonight as well. All right, so Laura, let's talk a little bit about us. Who goes first? Me, you, Maria? What do you want? I'll go
You can
first.
start.
Okay. So I'm going to keep it very, very short for those of you that don't know me. A lot of you do, though, through social media because I'm the one that's in the group. But my name is Liz. I'm 35 years old. I started investing in a couple of months. It will be 10 years ago. The one really cool thing about what I've done is that I've done it completely virtual. So those introverts, you don't have to meet with sellers in person. You don't have to meet with buyers in person. I've done this completely online. And the reason I did this was I wanted to be there for my son. So when I started investing, I was very, very broke. I couldn't even afford food. I had mattresses on the floor, like the plastic drawers and all of that. And it was a means to an end. It had to get me out of my situation. And despite growing up into real estate, if you don't know, I'm Laura's daughter. So despite growing up in real estate, it wasn't my thing. I didn't do that. I wanted to blaze my own path. But as you can tell, that didn't work out so well. So then I went into it. I've been doing virtual wholesaling for 10 years. I would love to know who wants to do this like completely virtual, meaning like I'm not running to houses. I'm not, doing this. My first international deal, I say international, where I was not in the US, was from St. Lucia. I've done deals from Japan, Italy, England, you name it. Yes, right? It's preferred. Why virtual? Because I don't want to be tied to something. I still wanted to do real estate, but I wanted to live my life while doing it. I wanted to, like someone said, sleeping in. I can sleep in whenever I want. Well, my son's at his dad's. So right now I can literally sleep in whenever I want. I can work when I want. I can pick my own hours and things like that. So that was something that was really important for me, was to kind of control my own time. Now, real estate, while it's not easy, it's the most rewarding. I went from being extremely in debt to maxed out credit cards to having no food within 5 years. Could have done it sooner, but I was a chicken. I bought a house during the middle of 2020, and then I also taught students how to do it. So then in 2020, I became a coach because I was doing it virtual. What happened in 2020? COVID. And overnight, I made students' dreams come true because they had to put their business virtually or they were going to get out of real estate. And we did that. So long story short, that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years, and I genuinely, genuinely love it. Now, my experience compared to Maria and Laura's is a lot smaller, but not like better. I'm not dimming my own light, but they have very extensive experience. So let's go to whoever wants to go next.
Maria?
Yes, I'll do that. So I started in real estate in 2007, and some of you might remember that was the eve of the Great Recession. So not the best time. But here's the thing, I am from Italy, just like Laura, and we actually happened to meet in St. Louis through real estate. But I came to the United States for my MBA, and I started working in corporate America. And then I decided I wanted to be in charge of my own schedule, meaning that I wanted to work whenever I wanted to, and I wanted to work from wherever I wanted to. And I started doing virtual investing in the United States I was traveling about 9 months out of the year, living in different countries and still able to do investing in the United States. So that's one amazing thing about real estate, especially for those of you that like traveling. My family is in Italy, so for me it was a necessity. I wanted to be able to go and stay in Italy as long as I wanted to. So I was doing all of this, and so I quit my job with corporate America in 2003. And then I started investing while traveling. I started investing in the stock market. And then what happened is that in 2006, basically I was managing assets for high net worth individuals. And I basically more than doubled the market in that amount of time. And then in 2006, I started seeing the writing on the wall that something was not right. Okay, now I don't have a crystal ball. I see as much as other people, right? But just because I was so much in the market, I saw there was something that wasn't working right. And I took everybody into cash at the end of 2006. So it was a little early, but it was a lucky thing. And in 2007, I thought, okay, there was a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of stuff people are talking about, a market high, all these things. And does that sound familiar? Isn't that what is happening right now? I'm not saying, and I'm certainly not wishing for another great recession to arrive. I'm actually hoping and expecting that it's not going to be as bad. However, I am expecting that I can already see the market is softening. This is great. This is the best time to go into real estate. In fact, in that sense, I was very lucky. My timing was perfect because when I started investing, the market turned. Basically, the market went down 50%. I was in the middle of a rehab and the market went down 50% on me. But because of all this uncertainty and basically created discounts, I basically started closing so many deals every month. And I used to have teams. I used to have I used to do a lot of business. Now I pared it down most recently because I'm a single mom. I have other circumstances in life, and that's the beauty of real estate. You can do as much or as little as you want, depending on how much time you have. You might have a job. It doesn't matter. Real estate will adapt to any circumstance for anyone. I've seen people who are single mothers with full-time jobs who even travel for work being able to do real estate. So that's time constraints are never need to be an issue when it comes to real estate, especially the way we do it, where it is virtual. You have teams that help you do these things. So you really just need to manage things. So that said, it was the best thing I ever did, because by getting into the market when the market was softening, people started to come to me to have me, to ask me to help them with deals. I was dealing with foreclosures and all kinds of stuff at the time. In this case, we're seeing sellers starting to discount, et cetera, et cetera. We have a similar situation in that sense, not the same degree, but we have a similar situation. The uncertainty that we have in the market, inflation fears and everything else, is working in our favor. The market has already changed from being a seller's market to a very balanced market. And right now I'm expecting it's going to become a buyer's market by the time the third quarter runs out here, especially with winter coming on. So if you have been thinking, sitting on the sidelines, knowing, oh my goodness, is this a good time to get in? This is the best time to get into real estate, because you really want to be in a market where you have power to negotiate with sellers so you can get your deals when you need to get them. There's a lot more money to be made in down markets. In fact, I'll tell you something that you can absolutely, I'm sure you've heard of before. The vast majority of businesses in the S&P 500 today were started, and I'm talking the vast majority, they were started during recessions. It's a known fact that when any type of business is started in uncertain times, it just makes more money just because you are in an inflection point. So if you have been sitting on the sidelines, I would definitely recommend jumping in sooner or later, especially if you've been interested in real estate for a long time, and I know some of you are.
Great. Okay, so I'm just going to briefly do the talk about, for the ones that don't know me, and then we're going to jump into the lot of content. So we're going to go fast and furious once we get into the content. So make sure you have pen and paper ready. And if you do have questions, we're going to address the question at the end. And also for the ones that stay live until the end, we are going to give you a link to download your action plan. So, stay tuned, because we're not going to email that. That's going to be given to you if you stay until the end via link. So as far as I'm concerned, for the one who don't know you, I've been in this business for 4 decades almost, so it's been a while. Starting this business before Liz was born, really. And like Maria, I'm from Italy. So coincidence, we're both Italian. We met in St. Louis. And when we say Italian, we actually were born and grew up there, which is a rarity, and then moved here later on in life. So we both have that background and experience. And so with that said, I actually went into real estate to pay for college. So I was didn't want to get student loans. In Italy, it's paid by the government, most of the universities, and I did 2 years there. But when I transferred here, I realized I had to get student loans, and I didn't want to do that. So I looked for a business that was flexible. They gave me the flexibility to work and make money and go to school. And so that's why real estate kind of fit all that, because it gave me the flexibility. On top of that, I was married, started having children. Liz is my eldest daughter. So that's things that it really seemed to mold to my lifestyle. The other thing I started with was rentals. That was my first strategy back in 91, started building a rental portfolio because I wanted to passive income. How many of you here would love to do passive income? So my goal was to build up to $5,000 a month in passive income within a year. In about 18 months, I actually doubled that. On the course of doing that, I stumbled into what a lot of you know now as wholesaling, which is back then was flipping contract, got into fix and flip. And 95 was really a pivoting year for me, because I decided I was going to quit corporate America and be in real estate full time. Until then, I bought into, you need to use your degree, you need the benefits, you need the safety, you need this and that.
Oh no.
And in 95, one day I sat there, was like, at this point, I was making 3 times more in real estate than I was doing my desk job. And I was like, what am I doing here? So I jumped into real estate full time. So how many of you are looking to transition into real estate from a job? I would like you to put that in the chat, because I'm going to share with you 3 critical things that I did in order to help me with the transition. Okay. So number 1, I made that decision. Okay, there was only option A. I was not going to stay in that more than I needed to, and I gave myself number two, which is I gave a timeline, 6 months. So I made the decision within 6 months I had enough income to support myself and my three children, because I was also going through some personal challenges and a divorce. And so I had to have the income, right? And number three, I did what I had to do, meaning I took personal responsibility, made the calls in the evening, during my lunch hour, during my commute to work. I had a phone installed in my car because back then it was a big thing, but I did what I had to do. When I finally transitioned to real estate full time, it took off like a wildfire. Okay, so by 97, I was wholesaling over 10 properties a month, doing fix and flip on the side. In 2001, I went into private money syndication, and then the business built up. One of the things I want to share with you is that strategies don't change. Rentals, buy, fix and flip, wholesaling, those don't change. Those are the strategy. What you do within the strategy changes, okay? Because it has to adapt with the times. So what worked 20, 30, 40 years ago is definitely not going to work today. So to be a real estate investor, I'm also one of the only real estate investors in the country, male or females, that have been in the business as long as a coach and also as an investor. Okay. So that's the thing. It's like I have a history behind me to be here. And one of the time I've heard is like, to be a good coach, you have to go to hell and back. Well, I've been to hell and back a few times in my career, so I reinvented myself in the business. So nowadays I do local investing, but I also do virtual. And I also coach students to do virtual. Actually, I work with a lot of students in different partnerships capacities, and they all do virtual investing. So I do both. I saw somebody put in a comment, then I don't. No, I do. And then as far as local, I'm into more small, less fix and flips, but higher value. So higher end properties because of the area where I live, which is in near Palm Beach, Boca Raton. Okay, so that's kind of my background here. So now let's go ahead and jump into everything else. Liz?
Yeah, so I just wanted to share, we also do a lot with our students, in-person retreats, intensives, things like that. If it's not in person, we do a lot of online things. About every 3 months, we get together with our students online or in person and have events. These are just from a couple of retreats that we've hosted, so you could just kind of see all the fun that's going on. We've also been featured in the news, me and Laura twice. Once me and Laura, and then one on each of our separate times. She announced to the entire world that I was broke when I started real estate. Like she was broke, but it's okay because she ended up becoming a student, the anchor woman. So that was pretty cool. I really like her. And then just a last minute call for those who got on late. This is our gift to you. So the team will put a link into the comments there that you can grab our 7 Simple Steps ebook. It's very thorough, lots of information, and all of that. So the next question here, which I'm going to let Laura, because she kind of came up with this, is how to choose the right strategy. Who here is like, I don't know which way I should go, whether it's rentals, flips, or wholesaling? Or do you already know what you want to do? Okay. All right. Quite a few people. All right. That's okay. So, Laura, let's share how.
Yeah, so I came up with this because a lot of the students kind of had a conundrum, right? They say, I know eventually I want to get into this, maybe rentals, but I don't know if that's what I can start with now. So I came up with this chart here, and obviously you're welcome to take a screenshot or whatever you need to do. But the thing is, at the top you say you're a beginner real estate investor. Okay, yes. So then you go on the left side of it. So a lot of you are new. Then the next question you answer is, do you have money? Do you have cash? Do you have IRAs? Do you have lines of credit? Do you have some type of cash availability? Yes or no, right? So if it's yes, so are you looking to get more cash for some reason, right? You need a cash influx. Some of you say, well, yeah, I do have retirement pension plans, but I don't want to tap into that. I just need more money. So if that's yes, then you're going to wholesaling, which I call an ATM. If no, then you can go ahead and leverage some of the money that you have in retirement IRAs and so forth to get into buy and hold and fix and flip together with OPM, which is Other People's Money. Now, on the right side of the screen is like, no, I'm not a beginner. I've done some deals. So my next question again is, you have money available? Yes. Okay, so are you looking for cash fast? Are you looking to get the ATM going? Are you looking to pay for the next luxury vacation and you don't want to go into your pension funds? And then wholesaling is still going to be an answer. If not, then you can go into, a lot of you say, I'm just looking to build a legacy, retirement, and so forth. So this chart here, and then I have our other options here, but this chart here is what is kind of gives a snapshot. So two main things you have to answer, like I say, do you have any type of financial availability you can tap into? Number one, it could be, and it doesn't have to be that much. I mean, we have people starting buying rentals with about $50,000, $60,000 credit line on their house, or do you have IRAs or 401ks and so forth, or do you have like more of a need to immediate cash? So this will help you to kind of zero in on what your situation is, what your goals are, where you are at this phase in your life, so you can choose the right strategy accordingly. Okay, so this one here is how to build monthly cash flow plus long-term wealth. This is actually something really, really cool. This is kind of a newer thing I was working on. So wholesaling plus rental, the power combo. Okay, let me explain to you before we get into what's on the screen here. So one, remember what I said to you that during my story, I actually started with rentals. I started buying rental property. My goal was to have $5,000 passive income within a year, and then I doubled that. So the thing is, I also realized 2-3 years later, when I stumbled into wholesaling, which back then was going to flip the contract, that I could use the money from wholesaling either to buy more rentals or to go ahead and pay off some of the rentals I had that I wanted to keep and get more cash flow. So wholesaling equal cash now. Quick paydays without owning property builds the capital you need to invest. So a lot of you are saying, I want to get into rentals, but I don't have the cash or the funds. Or, I don't have a pension fund or IRA or anything else. Or I don't even have a house. I can tap into equity. So wholesaling will give you the cash, the seed capital to invest, right? And then rentals equal wealth later. Buy and hold is equal freedom over time. Monthly passive income. So when you buy rental property, you want to make sure you always have passive income every month. Don't buy just for appreciation. We've seen how that goes up and down and left and right, so you can't really bank on that. Passive income, $10,000, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month. It gives you peace of mind, right? And then it's legacy and wealth building. Maria, do you want to add something on this? I know you have experience with this too.
Oh my goodness. So I'm going to keep it short because when I start talking about rentals, this is all I'm focused on, or most what I'm focused on right now, because I finally focused on rentals the way I should have from the beginning. Rentals are so powerful, guys, and you don't need money to get started. Laura did it without any money of her own. In fact, she did it because she needed money to come in every month. But the rentals are amazing because what happens is that you have somebody else, you get an asset, okay, by already using somebody else's money. Then even if you have a mortgage on it, you can fix it, you can upgrade the rents, you can increase the rents, whatever it is. You make all that cash flow that is yours, but then you can even refinance and take more money out. These refinances could be $100,000 that you take out every few years. Meanwhile, your tenants are paying off that mortgage. And then in addition to that, it's all tax deductible. So, I mean, rentals, there is a reason, guys. At the end of the day, the saying, follow the money. There is a reason rentals are so great. We don't have enough housing. A lot of people, especially right now, cannot afford to buy houses, and the government wants you to be a landlord. When you are resisting the government, you're going to pay taxes, okay? The government allows you to own all these assets that you're going to own free and clear at some point, because again, somebody else is paying for them. You're going to have these assets making you money for generations. If you want to leave it to your kids, great. You're going to refinance over several years. It's like having a savings account that all of a sudden magically, after say 10 years, has another 100,000 in it, and tax-free money, as I said, because it's considered a debt. And then you get tax deductions. So you might be able, if you do have a full-time job, don't pay taxes on that. What that alone can do for your financial future, you have no idea. You compound that over time. Rentals are amazing. There is a reason why people that have a lot of rentals and generational wealth, majority of our generational wealth has been built with rentals. There's a reason for that.
Yeah. The other thing is if you do wholesaling and rentals, because you're going to make money wholesaling, right? You're going to make 10, 15, $20,000 per deal. But if you don't have something to offset money that you make, you're going to pay so much in taxes. So the rentals one, because of this depreciation, accelerated depreciations, all the what you can write off with the rentals can offset your gains from wholesaling. So that's why, and that's why these two strategies work very well together. So Liz, next slide. So how to combine them? Use wholesaling profits as your down payments and reserves for rentals. Plus, you can pay off your rentals. Well, some of the coaches in our community, Jimmy and Patricia, for example, they started with rentals. They did rental for the first 2 years when they were my students. And I kept pushing them. I said, why don't you do some wholesaling? And they resisted that. Then after 2 years later, they got pretty much tapped out. And so they started using the money so they started getting into wholesaling. And then they found, this is not that bad. And they started using the money for wholesaling to pay off their rentals. So, and some of you ask us as how much minimum do you expect to invest? As I said, $50,000-$60,000 on a line of credit on their house. That's how they get started. And I know, Maria, you work with another student, Letitia. She had about the same capital to get started. And now she has all these multi-families. So the thing is, you don't need a ton of money to get started. Now, keep wholesaling to build a consistent cash cushion and maintain your lifestyle while growing your portfolio. That's the thing. Some of you say, okay, well, I love the rental income and legacy, but I really want to take the lifestyle right now. I really want to quit my job in the next 6 months to a year. I really want to buy another house for myself or, afford things. Somebody said to me, I'm driving a 2007 car. I need to buy a new car, So that's the thing. So that wholesaling can give you the cash infusion to support your lifestyle and also give you the money. I was talking to somebody today. There is an amazing book, guys, it's called Profit First. Get that book. It teaches you how to create these buckets into the money that comes in so you can support your lifestyle, make sure your taxes are paid off, and also invest the money and so forth. And then the third thing, make money from properties you don't want for your rental portfolio. Because the thing is, you're going to come across the leads and deals anyway, right? You're not going to buy all of them, even if you want rentals. You say you want to focus on rentals. I have a lot of students, they say, I really don't want to wholesale. So don't worry about wholesaling. You resist that too much. Let's go into after rentals. But let me ask you, what are you going to do with the properties you don't want as a rental? And they don't know. And I was like, that's the mistake I made when I started. I didn't know what to do with them. So I would pass. If I go back and say, I probably let go hundreds of thousands of dollars. No, probably. I did let go hundreds of thousands of dollars on deals that I could have done wholesaling and made money off that I didn't want from my rental portfolio, because you're going to come across those leads anyway. Do something with them and make money. Does it make sense? Right? You want anything to add, Elizabeth or Maria? No?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. I was just going to say, absolutely. We laugh because Liz only does wholesaling. And we're trying to tell her, and her accountant every year gets on our case because she's paying too much in taxes. That's why these two strategies together are really fantastic, because basically you're going to make all this money and you won't have to pay for the vast majority, depending on how much you make, obviously. And we're not here giving you any accounting advice for sure, or legal advice. But the fact is, you're going to make so much money that you really don't want to leave that much to government. And this is the beauty of real estate. It really is a tax advantage situation because the houses are needed. At the end of the day, like somebody said, they're never going to go out of style. It's definitely business that will be with you if you want to do it until you're 90 years old. This is something you'll always be able to do. And you cannot say this about other things. You guys know what's happening with AI right now. A lot of jobs are at risk. Real estate will always be there. And that's what we need these days, especially with this huge global uncertainties. we need stuff that's been around forever and it will be around forever.
Definitely.
Hey,
And one thing I would
real
say
estate
too,
is actually leveraging AI even more. You can do all kinds of stuff with AI, and it's going to make your job so much easier. You can find properties, analyze deals, all kind of stuff, different scenarios with different properties. You put the information, boom, AI will tell you what the choice you can do. So there is a lot that can be done with AI.
definitely. And so one of the things I would say is for a lot of people who were in my position when I started, the reason that I love wholesaling is there's low liability and low upfront costs. I didn't have to pay a lot to get going. I was able to make bigger bucks. It got me out of debt a lot quicker, but also it helped me build capital so that I could, when I'm ready, go into rentals. Now, did I expect to be doing solely wholesaling for 10 years? No. But at the point of where I was in life, the low liabilities really what got me. I didn't want the pressure. And then I started thinking about it in 2020 and I said, you know what? I'm gonna pause on it. And then I looked at it in 2022 and I was like, you know what? The market's going crazy. We weren't finding stuff that made sense as a rental. So yeah, I do want to get into it, especially as I'm getting later into my 30s, where I'm like, okay, where wholesaling is an active income, you're working for the money and it is big bucks. Rentals is passive, and I am starting to look for a more passive income that can come in without actively doing it. So we'll talk a lot about that now, but I just wanted to kind of share where the thought process is for some of you who are like, okay, look, I gotta, I don't even know how I'm gonna make rent, right? I don't even know how I'm gonna pay these bills. And that's why I find wholesaling is a lot easier to jump into because you can get those bigger checks. Not easier, a lot better to jump into because you can get those bigger checks and get the pressure of you off. And then you can move into rentals, which is a slower ascent to that monthly income. All right, moving on. Laura, let's talk about the best markets.
Oh, yes, I love this part. Okay, so I'm always doing research, and the markets always change. So even when you look at the stuff today, one of the first things we do when we get into working with students is that to choose the market, and of course we share with you how to pinpoint the best markets. So there is research that has to be done, and this has to be done every, I would say, 6 months. It's not something you can just decide and forget it. And so researching and understanding what to get the market. First of all, go for real data, okay? Don't go for what they say the real meeting or what this guy article says. No, go for the data, go for the writing on the go, or go for what the MLS is showing. So there is a National Association of Realtors, Zillow, Redfin, all these compile real data. So that's what I look for, okay? So that's the most important thing, to research that with well-known sources or the published data, not hypothesis. So the next slide, Liz. So then I was looking into, actually, this is from Zillow. And this is actually was reported about 2 months ago. So it's very recent data that they did the searches. So like Maria said, there are some markets that are shifting right now from the seller market to the buyer's market. So that, look at this heat map. The one in red are strong sellers markets. So they're still a kind of sellers. So like Maria was saying, St. Louis, for example, you can see there is a big red bubble, right? That means it's still a seller market. The bigger the bubble, the bigger the seller market, the stronger it is. Now, the ones that are in purple and blue, especially the blue one, there are the buyer's markets, okay? And so, and I wanted to highlight a few. Now, the top 10, interesting enough, if you look at this list, they what?
I'm just laughing at it.
Yeah, they are around the Gulf.
I
Why
just
are they
moved
around the
from
Gulf?
Cape Coral, which all the cities, Naples, Punta Gorda, all of that, they're right next to Cape Coral. And I just sold before it became a buyer's market, literally like a couple months before.
Yeah, same thing you see in Gulfport, Mississippi, and Texas. These are all around the Gulf, and because they got hit so much by flooding and hurricanes and everything else, the insurance got really high. And this is nationwide, guys. So nationwide, these are the top markets. So it's pretty, it's like everything is down where we are. I live on the east side of Florida, so we're not on the list, thank God. But the thing is, that's what is going on. So these are already buyer's market. So now your question is, well, can I do deals there? Of course. Okay. One of the things that you always have to realize with real estate, things are temporary. Okay, so things are going to turn around again. They're coming up with new legislations now here in Florida about, not killing people with insurance and other things like condo association fees and so forth, so that people can afford to live here, right? But that thing is in. Now there are other areas too that you look more in central of the country too, right? Look at Indiana, for example. You have a nice big bubble near Indianapolis. That is a more of a buyer's market. Move into Ohio. Move towards Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is something else that's on the radar, especially if you want to do wholesaling and fix and flips. It's really coming up. So this is a really good way of giving you kind of a bird's eye view of what is going on. And like I said, Zillow pulls their data from MLS, from the listings. So it's not something that they came up with and say, oh yeah, well, let's put these cities on this list, So, but this is kind of giving you more of it. So personally, I was kind of be very hesitant on the red markets right now where the bubbles are. And like I said, the bigger the bubbles, the more you want to stay away. And then focus on the pink, purple and blue markets to the best. Does this make sense? Okay, so yeah. Anything you want to add, anybody? Maria, Liz?
Yeah, it's actually because Latoya is asking, how would this work for someone outside these areas? That's the beauty of virtual wholesaling. You don't need to be in those areas. And you can follow as the economy changes. You might start in one area and then expand your area to other areas as well. And that means that you will always have the pick of the market. This is what we teach. We teach people how to do this virtually, and not just so because we like to travel and we don't want to be stuck in one place, but really because it makes sense so that you're always in a strong negotiating position. So that's a great question, Latoya. Absolutely.
Yeah, and honestly, when it speaks of this, you want to be where it's more of a buyer's market. That's more of a benefit to you. It gives you room for negotiation. So, like in Florida, where there is all of this like blue and get some of it like light blue, and four counties of Florida are on the top buyer's market. This is a benefit to you because you can negotiate things lower and then be able to wholesale or get rentals at a lower price. Make sense?
Right. Yeah. When you talk about buyer's market, I want to clarify, Amber. We're talking about buyer's market, meaning that the buyer have more of a decision power than the seller. Okay, so that means that the seller cannot expect to get at or above asking price. They will have to negotiate if they want to get their property sold. So as an investor, how does that benefit you, right? So if people are looking for rentals, if people are looking for fix and flip, if you're a wholesaler, you're going to target either rehabbers or landlords, right? Those are going to be your buyers. So there are always going to be movement. There are always going to be people buying at the right price. My thing is, my own quote is, there is always a buyer for every property at the right price. So the thing is, you have to really go. Another thing, and this gets into leads, I don't want to get in there. The point is, these sellers, quote unquote, do they need to sell? Do they want to sell? If they need to sell, then they will work with you on prices, and there will be buyers buying at those prices who are going to be landlord looking for rentals. The good thing about Florida, for example, is that there are a lot of transition. There's a lot of snowbirds. There's a lot of people coming here using short and midterm rentals. So there's always rental demand. And there is also a lot of people moving down here. So the fix and flip industry is really strong. So I don't want to get into that, just I want you to start thinking that the buyer's market means more opportunities because the sellers are willing to talk and negotiate, and they're not stuck on their prices like they're in the Northeast.
And it follows into what I was talking to the students yesterday, and we had some new students on, and they were a little scared of leads. And they said, well, what are some leads? And I had the students list, the ones who had done deals. And guess what? Like 90% of them said on market properties is how they were closing deals currently. We teach them the MLS strategy, which is going after on market properties. So they're currently students doing deals of properties that have already been listed at a higher price that they're getting even cheaper than what it's listed for. I always say when it's listed, that's just what they would love to get. That doesn't mean that's what they're actually going to get at the end of the day. And if you're in a market where it's a buyer's market, this is even better because the sellers do have to come to terms. It's not 2020 anymore in 2021. So they have to come to term and really lower down their expectations, which helps you as an investor be able to get in there and help, be able to sell the house for them. So that's something I wanted to kind of talk about too.
Yeah, and always keep in the back of your mind, do they need to sell or do they want to sell? What does it mean? They want to sell is somebody that tells you, sure, if you give me $500,000 for the house, I sell it. When they know very well the house is worth 300. They don't need to sell. They would love to sell. I will sell if somebody offer more than what my condo is worth. But the thing is, that's the want. The need is like, oh, I'm falling behind on the payments. I can't afford it. I lost my job. That's a need to sell. So it's a huge distinction because they need to sell. They will do anything to try to sell the property. They want to sell. They're the ones who are being ridiculous on what they're asking.
Definitely.
Yeah, let's get going.
Okay, so what we want to talk about now is kind of how do we get you there, right? So we're talking about this is all great and dandy, but who here is like this would be great, but I saw a few people mention I would love mentorship, knowledge, and step by step. Real quick, we are going to get into a Q&A and give the action plan, but I do know that there are people here tonight that expressed interest on what it would look like, so I was going to spell it out for people if they wanted to.
Right. Now, the action plan, actually, it will have a lot of fill in the blanks that you need to fill, but we give you a good template. So pay attention here because a lot of this actually will work with the action plan. But at the end of the day, the support is where the rubber meets the road. So Liz?
Definitely. And I will get to a point where we actually build out the different parts of your real estate business. It's on the next slide and showing you what it takes to have a full-fledged real estate business. So one of the things that we do is we start off with a kickoff call to kind of get you going, make sure that you understand everything that's going on. So in the next couple of weeks, we have a kickoff call coming where you'll be able to get on and really figure out everything that's going on. What do you need? And things like that. So we do game plan, we'll do onboarding, we'll help you pick, we'll help you confirm markets because by that point you should have already gone through a lot of a pre-training and different areas like that. Laura, you want to talk roadmap? Normally I don't talk roadmap or game plan.
Roadmap, I call it. It's kind of like the Library of Congress, right? So you get into this vault and everything you want, from rentals to wholesaling to fix and flip, how to get the leads, how to find the money. It's all the training, all the documents, all the scripts, everything you need and so much more. This thing has been evolving because we've been doing this for a while. So initially when I started doing this, 15 plus years ago, as far as coaching, I basically took the vault of all my information and documents and put it in here. It took me almost 2 years. And then it has expanded over the years. But what is more important is this training evolves, it changes, it grows, it constantly changes. Because the fact is, what worked a year, 2 years ago is not working today. And right now, between now and in the next couple of years, we're going to see leaps and bounds of evolution on what is working in the real estate market because of all the AI and the virtual and people getting more comfortable with different type of knowledge and skills. So this is what is the roadmap. But the most important thing is this. For any strategy you choose, doesn't matter if you're going to wholesale now, rentals, fix and flip, I created a step-by-step checklist that goes along with the training. So there is no guesswork. It's really connect the dots. You get into there and it will tell you what to do for the first 4 weeks. And it will say, do this, and this is where you find it in the training. Do that, and it's found in the training. And it goes from choosing the area, time organization and management, time blocking, which is kind of the pre-phase. And then it goes into choosing the right strategy we mentioned here earlier. And then it goes into the strategy of your choice based on where you are. And then eventually you can expand into the other strategy. Everything is in one container that we are developing for you. So it's called REI Growth Mastery. So I want you to know this is something that grows with you. It's not like, okay, I'm just going to give you the boilerplate. You're stuck with this now for the rest of your life. No, because you're going to start doing some deals and they'll say, I want to get into fix and flips or rentals, or I'm wondering how to get the money out there. And as far as lead generation, we teach you everything from the low-hanging fruit strategies to some of the most obscure strategy, like bankruptcy property, tax delinquent property, probates, and so forth. So there is so much here. Like I said, this is a vault. But then the other thing is, well, like I said, the rubber meets the road is where the support is. So Liz?
Yeah, and so when we're talking about support, because I feel like if we gave you the knowledge, that's great. But who here is like, that's all fine and dandy, but I need help when I have deals. What if the seller is giving me a hard time, or the buyer's trying to back out and I'm at closing, or I get this deal under contract and I find that it has $100,000 in liens. This is real story. I need more hand holding. Things like that, right? Like I want someone to literally just tell me what to do. Right? Like, yeah, I'm going to go through the training and stuff, but I need someone to tell me what to do because then I can implement if you tell me what to do. Who's that kind of person? I see Chantel. Anyone else? Okay. All right. One person. All right. So where this happens is though, is the support because I tell people all the time, that's where you need the help. It's not like when I get most questions, it's not what's the next step. I mean, I do get that every once in a while, but it's more, I have a deal. Can you help me analyze it? Can you make sure the numbers are good? Can you make sure that my maximum offer is right? Can you double check my comps? Can you review my contract to make sure I have contingencies in place that if this deal doesn't happen, I can back out. If I can't find a buyer, what do I do? That is where your support comes in. So what we do is we offer weekly group calls, okay? So we offer weekly group calls where you can get on and ask questions. In fact, some of my students on now just came from one of their weekly group calls. Right there. That with Maria. Maria's on, so she's having a wonderful night tonight. But they came from their weekly group calls. So we do weekly group calls. Tonight's was called the Deal Workshop. So they're running deals, live deals, analyzing deals, comping, what did rehab cost based off of pictures. It's all kind of different stuff. We also have office hours. Now this I have not seen happen. Office hours. So a lot of people, this happened about a year ago. I went on a cruise. But right before I went on a cruise, one of the students said, what I could do if you were in my office with me, the amount of things I could get done. And then in the chat, a lot of other students were like, me too. Like, I need one of Liz everywhere or any of the coaches. But that's kind of what they said at the time. And so I went on a cruise and I get my best ideas on the water. And I came back and I called Laura and I said, what if we offer office hours? Where we get on and it's like they have us in their office, they get on and they can ask questions while they're making phone calls, while they're putting together contracts, while they're doing all this stuff where it's live and it's almost like one-on-one coaching. Guess what happened? They love it. They started doing deals that they were putting off. They started showing up. They started being there. Accountability. We were like their accountability partners. Now, we have a lot of calls every week, but we had accountability partners for once, and it was with coaches who are already doing deals. So the reason I really harp on this is you get that point, you get that time with the coaches. It cycles between me and Laura because I only do wholesaling, so I have to have somebody that's rentals and flips. We talk private money. There's Maria, she did today's as well. And then we have the couple that we talked about, Jimmy and Patricia, where they actually took their wholesaling, paid off their rentals, did fix and flip and all that other stuff. The other thing that we offer outside of that is we offer a Facebook forum where you can get on and ask questions in between. So the students really love that. It is so active and it's honestly a very inspiring forum because the students every day are sharing wins. Every day are sharing things that are happening, big and small, how they're finding leads, things like that. We also offer intensives where you can come and hang out with us in person or on virtual, where you can hang out with us, get help, get your business moving forward, learn from the coaches on a bigger scale, like all of us are there. And it's just a really fun time. And we also offer contract reviews. So we review all of your contracts as long as you need. And I mean, just the other day, we reviewed a buyer agency contract. We've helped people get out of situations. So we just offer a lot of support that can help you move forward. as quick as possible. And so what we're going to do now is we're just going to offer, if you're interested, to schedule a call. But before we do that, I want to share how we help you build your business. Okay? So this is all great, but what do we provide outside of that? As if that wasn't enough. I just spent like 3 minutes going over all the things you get. But we teach you a lot of things. So in order for you to have a successful real estate business, what do you need to be doing consistently? I'm going to quiz you guys, see if any of you fell asleep. Let's see. Chantel's the only one that I've seen commenting recently. Getting leads. Okay, let's get a little more specific. What do you need to do to have a successful business? What needs to be happening to make money? Consistent deals, right? You have to have consistent closing. So you can fill this out with me. Students that are on, I would love to see where you're at with this now. Consistent closings, okay? Now I'm going to go through this a little quickly just because of time's sake. I know people want to get off, and I told you we will try to be done under an hour outside of the Q&A. So what we teach you are three main things. We teach you leads, we teach you marketing, and I'll get into that, and we'll teach you systems, okay? I apologize for my handwriting, talking, writing at the same time. It's not my thing. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to teach you how to generate leads. So when I told you that I asked students, for other students, what were they doing? Because, yeah, the coaches, whatever, but I want to see what people who are in my world right now as a newbie are doing. They mentioned a lot of what we consider are quick wins, deals to get under contract in your next 30 days. They were doing it. They're being super successful. My students are being quiet tonight. That's okay. I won't hold it against you. But they were being very successful in what they were sharing. Okay. Then we do a lot of, teach you how to lead nurture. So how to nurture your leads and follow up. The following up is one of the most important parts. 95% of your deals are going to come from following up. In fact, I was sharing in the group that a deal that I recently had under contract was because I followed up, right? I called old leads that said no or not interested or things like that. And you call back, hey, I still haven't seen it sell. Are you interested now, right? Then we teach you about contracts and follow-up, or contracts and financing. You know, how do I do this? How do I get rentals without having any money? What can I do? How do I fill up my contracts, my lead generation, or my contingencies and things like that? Moving into that, we go into branding under marketing. So I have a degree in internet marketing. People don't realize that. It's one of my many degrees I got. I have a degree in internet marketing. I have a degree as a medical assistant. I tried everything before I landed on real estate. But one of the things is I love branding. I love internet marketing and all of that. And so that is something that's really important to me. And so I teach you how to brand yourself. I mean, step by step, I share my screen and you can literally mimic it for your own. The next is KPI. KPI is key performance indicator, aka we teach you how to measure results so you can put more money into what works and less money into things that don't work. I know I'm going fast. We are recording this. You will get the replay. But we teach you that. And then last but not least, once we do that, we teach you how to scale. Who here is trying to do more than one deal? I would hope so, because I don't think there's any deal you can do that's going to make you the kind of money to live off of. Yeah. So I'm going to teach you how to scale it. So once you get a few deals under your belt, then you're going to be like, okay, it's time for next level. I need Liz's scaling abilities and Maria's scaling, Laura's. Like we teach you how to, okay, how do you make this a full-fledged business to consistently bring in deals? After that, you're going to start building a system. Why do I do this last? Because you don't know how you want your business to run yet. You don't know what works in your area. You don't know the trial and errors yet, how you want to do things, what phone calls work. So the systems actually come last, and it's going to be dependent. My CRM system, I guarantee you, is very different than Maria's CRM system for rentals. It's very different than Laura's because I'm wholesaling. So your system is going to be dependent on your strategy. Now, the fun part is, and I know I'm sending a lot here, but it's because I want to show you everything that get covered. Who wants to do deals from anywhere in the world? And hell, just from your car in the school pickup line. Okay, so you don't even have to leave. You're like looking at your bank account. It's like, I can make it to the backyard for a vacation right now. Exactly. Best part here, would you like to wake up with deals in your inbox? Would you like to be able to get COVID for 2 weeks like I did and have your business still running? That when life happens, you're not completely derailed from it. 3 people. Good. Okay. Those 3 people you're going to love automation. Automation, building the business minus the COVID. Yeah, I know. Building the business and having your business run for you is one of the most magical things. What I tell people, the beauty about real estate is the more money you make, the less you have to work. You're going to start learning how to delegate. You're going to start learning how to have things in automation. AI has made this easier than ever to do this. It's making it better. And we actually teach you how to use AI in your business. I will teach you how to never make a phone call again using AI. Who wants to know how to do that? All right. And then last team, you could go ahead and post the link, by the way, if you want to schedule a call for those that are interested. And then last is, then we'll do the consistent model. So once you kind of get this down, then you start building a consistent model, because if you do all of these and you put them all together, it will give you consistent closings. Okay. And what that does for you is the biggest thing is it gives you control and frees up your time. The more money you make, the less you're going to work. I tell people all the time, real estate is full-time as far as income. It's full-time as maybe mentally, but it is not full-time hours. In fact, I asked students on a single deal how much they made, and you want to know what they, or how many hours they work? 10, 5, 15. I had a student make $41,000 on 2 deals. I'm going to share her soon. And it was on 2 deals. She's done 5 deals in 2025 alone. How would that make you feel? Silence. Crickets. Oh, well, hopefully good. Once you have that, then you go, it frees up your time. You start experiencing real freedom. Okay? You start experiencing the freedom that you see everyone else having that you think is not possible for you. You will start experiencing freedom from your finances. What that means is you're not going to wake up and immediately check your bank. You're not going to wake up and pray things didn't come in that puts you negative. That was me. You can fill up your kitchen. The freedom of time. You could leave your job. I'm not selling a pipe dream. I'm showing you what has happened. And then what that does is finally help you fulfill whatever the meaning or the why is for you. You want to give back. You want to help your family. You want to do things with your family. You want to travel. You want to help out your neighborhood, your community. There are different benefits here that really help you. And so I wanted to share, because this is all, wait, hold on. This is all great and dandy, but you need to know how that looks for you to build a business out. And this is what we help you. This is where you don't have questions that go unanswered. This is our signature program. This is what gets you moving. And we teach you how to do every section of this. Laura, Maria, do you want to say anything on this? I feel like I've just talked the whole time.
Yeah, no, the thing is, at the end of the day, people don't invest or buy coaching. They invest in results, they invest in changes. You have something you want to go for, right? I mean, it's like when you buy the lottery ticket, you just don't buy the ticket just because you want to give money away. You buy the ticket because you want to win the lottery. And so that's the thing. It's like you have to look at real estate as the vehicle to get you to do whatever you want to do, whatever the case might be. Independence. It doesn't have to be financial. It can be of time. It can be that you want have some dream of giving back to the community or doing something worthwhile. And that's what real estate is, the vehicle that can let you do it. And like I said, it's not just to tell you, and I think it was Maria that said this, the greatest fortunes are made in times of change. When you come in where everybody is kind of on the sideline thinking about it, think about COVID, guys. 2020. Do you remember 2020 when COVID hit? 2.5% interest rates. Okay. And the thing is, you could all go out there and buy. People where there were so many sellers that wanted to sell. They just get out of it. They bought into the frenzy in the media. Just imagine if you had bought all these properties at 2.5% interest rates. I don't know if we will ever see that in our lifetime, right? So in times of changes, this is when opportunity grows. As a wholesaler, you're providing properties for landlords and flipper. They don't want to find the property themselves. They want to work with wholesalers that bring in deals. As a landlord, you want to find properties that you can rent out because there is such a huge demand right now in rentals. In flippers, you want to find properties that you can go ahead and flip for first-time homeowners. So this is the time of opportunity. Everybody here is a different stage in their life. Everybody has different goals and dreams. That's why we need to really get on a call to see where you are and meet you where you're at so that we can help you get to where you're going. So, Tim, if you can post the link again here, and we're going to get into Q&A in a second. Now, whatever Liz shared on the screen here also is something that will go into the action plan that you're going to take. So this is a lot of the terms and items that she highlighted that will go into the action plan that we're going to share with you in a few moments.
Definitely.
So, Maria, you want to add anything to this?
I did want to say we have touched upon the fear factor. Sometimes in life, we find ourselves at a fork in the road. We know, we have it in the back of our mind. You wouldn't be on this call using up your Wednesday evening if you didn't know that something is missing and that there is a solution. And the fact is that real estate, as we said, it's always been there, will always be there. The question is, will you take advantage of it? The fact is, while you're here wondering, there are people doing real estate. Besides the people on this call, we're all active full-time real estate investors. But you might think to yourself, well, but I haven't been around 20 years like Maria. I haven't been around 40 years doing it like Laura. I haven't been around 10 years like Liz. We started from where you are exactly. And not because we had all this money and time to invest. The opposite. Because we didn't have money and time and needed to find that. Real estate will always be the solution to money problems, time problems, because again, it can be done. You can invest very little time every day and can get real results that are life-changing. So the question is, are you going to explore? We're just saying, it's worth having a call and exploring this. But if you're holding yourself back, you're going to find yourself tomorrow in the same situation you have been for the past, I don't know how many years. And we don't want that for you. This is why we do this for women. And this is why we're women doing this for women, because we know what it takes to be a woman, especially in today's environment, with all the uncertainty out there. And we really want to move you forward. There is a reason we go through this painstaking process of figuring out what do they need. What do we have to offer? And the system that you're seeing in front of you is incredible. This is how we are able to have students close so quickly, put deals under contract so quickly. We've gone through this iteration, perfected it to where we know that if you put in the effort, you're going to get the results.
Yeah.
And so the question is, are you ready? Yeah, go ahead, please.
No, and so I want to actually show proof, because that's so great that we can say it, but I actually went into my Facebook group. I did block out their last names for privacy reasons, but I went in and I want to show you the level of support. All the things that I have screenshotted, you can see dates or how far it was. So Genevieve and Mike are fantastic. They closed their first deal June 2nd. They have 4 deals. It's in here somewhere. Here we go. Under contract for number 4. They just joined within a couple of, it's a little blurry, I apologize, so I'll try and read as much as I can. They just joined a couple of months ago, okay? And they have been going hard. Then we have Wendy putting deals on. Look, it says yesterday. The other thing is, I love this part by Lisa where she talks about, she felt like she was finally home to be with people, and she's been in other programs. So I share a lot of, I went kind of nuts, but it's just because there's a lot of good stuff here. I just didn't realize it would be so blurry for you guys on the screen. But a lot of people sharing wins all recently. Number 3rd home under contract. She just started a couple months ago. Her first closing happened, I think it was last week or at the end of June. So it's just a lot of people doing things. Now, the reason I have this in the middle at the bottom, this is actually the deal workshop I was referencing to. That's Maria in the corner. She hosts them. And they're going through sketchy basements, roof issues, things going on, property evaluations. They dug deep into 2 rehabs. I'm just showing, I feel like you need to show proof of people doing deals that are happening right now. Isabel on the left, $41,000 on her first 2 deals. You know, we have Genevieve, we have Wendy. She owns 3 rentals that she bought within a year, and she says she makes more off of her midterm rental than she does her short-term rental and her long-term rental. We have the lovely Bonita. What I love about Bonita that she says here is she's like, I met Liz in December and I wanted to challenge exactly what she said, almost to prove me wrong, that what I was teaching was not going to work. And she ended up doing her first deal by February. So that was 2 months later. You got to give about 6 weeks for the contract to come through once you put it under contract. So the reason I went a little nuts is to show you that there are women doing this and they're doing it now and they're making moves. But one of the things that you aren't going to see, we'll go back to that. One of the things you aren't going to see is you've got to get in now. Things are good now to get in. It's the easiest it's going to be to get in because a lot of people, your competition, quote unquote, they're bouncing because they're listening to what everyone else is saying. They're listening to the media make this way worse than it is. They're doing scare tactics. They're freaking you out on purpose. Now, I'm going to show you something. This is when the quote unquote market, which was just about 6 months ago, was competitive. This is my highest deal to date. $122,000. I've gotten close, but this one is a long story behind it. But to keep it short, $122,000, 440 and 67 cents on one deal. What could you do with that kind of money? Now I'm telling you, I've gotten close several times, but I was trying to I got inspired by another one of my coaches. They made $111,000, and I said I'm going to top that, and I did. It took me a year and a half to get to the amount that was over. But I'm curious for those who are still on, my quiet ladies, is what could that do for you? That's most of America don't even make that in a year. That was one deal. When the market was crazy. It's life-changing money. We're here. Thank you, Latoya. Yes. So I share this, and the reason I share this is because I think people realize like it's scary, but that's because people are telling you it's scary. I have ladies doing it, and that is why I did 5,000 testimonials of just in the last couple of weeks, so you can see, this is all the last couple of weeks. Hi, Amanda. That it's possible. You can do this. And my ladies that are in the student group are seeing it every day. But my question is, how long are you going to talk yourself out of this? I had a student that had thought about this for 4 decades. I got lucky. As soon as I stumbled across real estate as like an option, I jumped in. I was like, okay, money, I need it. I've lost 50 pounds in 3 months from not eating. I got to do something here. I was kind of at a desperate moment. But for you, some of you aren't that desperate right yet, but it's like, what is it that holds you back? So if it's fear, is it fear that you can't do this? Like that you physically can't do this? Because I'll tell you right now, Laura came, her accent, I don't hear an accent. But from what other people say, her accent's still pretty strong. I also don't hear it from Maria, but maybe because I've known her for so long. But she did it. I have people overseas doing it. I have people that are handicapped doing it. I have people that are in their late 80s doing it. And so that's why I share that, because I find it so important that you understand that you can do it. And that's the power of community. It's not just, okay, I'm going to get the teaching, but I have lifelong friendships building in this community. I have support when no one else in your life understands what you're doing. I tell people all the time, you're a little bit crazy if you want to get into investing. But in like the best way, where are you going to make this kind of money? Where could you work 10 hours or 15 or 20 hours and make $41,000 on a deal? All right, I feel like I'm hogging it. Laura Maria, anything else?
Well, one of the things I hear a lot, when I talk to people, they say, well, let me close my deal first and then I hire for coaching. And then I tell people, is that what the athletes say? Let me win the championship, then I hire a coach. I mean, let me, let's face it, a lot of us go to the gym. Let me do workout and I get the perfect body, then I hire a personal trainer. I mean, how many really do it that way, right? So that's one of the things I wanted you to think about. And personally, when I started in 87, there were no coaches out there. There was not many people in the industry really teaching. Nobody actually. You bought a book or a late night infomercial and figured it out. And that's what I did. And so it took me about 8 years until 95 to get to a place where I felt like I knew what I was doing enough to venture out and quit my day job, right? But the thing is, 8 years, and I calculated one time that the opportunity cost for me was over $1 million, meaning there is over $1 million of potential money that I've lost during those 8 years. Over 1 million for all the deals I didn't do, for all the deals I walked away, for all the deals I didn't know what to do with or analyze, and other things that I got in trouble and I had to hire lawyers for. Over $1 million, I tallied up. That's a lot of money. I don't know about you guys, but if I have to get somebody to coach me and spend a fraction of that and actually start making money the fastest way possible, sign me up. And to this day, I believe in coaching. I believe in coaching for marketing. I believe in coaching for mindset. I believe in coaching because the thing is, why do I have to reinvent the wheel? If somebody can tell me how to get from here to there, if somebody can tell me how to get to $1 million without 8 years of aggravation, why would I wait? Why would you wait? And that's the way you have to look at it, you know. So for the ones of you that say, well, let me close a deal and then I hire a coach, you got that wrong. Most of you are never going to close a deal. I hate to say that, but it's a tougher market, honestly, than it was 30, 40 years ago. I have to admit, you know, and I've been in the industry a long time. I see the writing on the wall on things and this and that. But if I had to start from now, I wouldn't blink a second to get that because there is so much information out there. But I can tell you right now, 95% is not good information. And what people tell you to do is not what they actually do themselves. You know, a lot of these coaches. So I see a lot of that. And unfortunately, there is no regulation to say these people are the real deal, but be careful. Okay. And I'm not just saying this because I want you to book us or book a call. I would hate for you to waste money in going out there and get people to help you that are really not qualified to help. I would hate for you to miss opportunities and have this conversation 1, 2, 5 years from now and you still being stuck in the same place. So, you know, book a call. There is nothing there to bind you. We don't make you sign for anything, you know, just to be on the call. Just get the call, explain your situation. You're going to talk to Doreen first. Doreen is here this evening. So I want to introduce everybody. She's such a nice lady. She's a real estate agent also. So she understands that side of the game. Talk with her and see, you know, she will be very honest with you. If you think we're a fit, you know, and what opportunities. We have different levels. So don't feel like, oh, I wonder how much it is. Don't worry. You know, we have like a basic level. You can come in the door and then work your way up if that's what you want to do. But we're going to be very honest with you. And at the end of the day, we want to help you make the decision that's right for you.
Yeah. I will say that one of the things about us is we actively invest. So people ask, why do we coach then if we're making money in real estate? Well, Laura has a very different reason than me, but she can share her own. And we'll get into Q&A. We're coming. But one of the things I want to say about that is I invest because I am so grateful for what real estate did for my life. And so the reason I coach is because when I started helping people change their business overnight because of COVID, because I had already figured it out, took me 3 years to figure out how to do it virtual, a lot of tears, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. But when I figured it out and was able to teach that, then what happened is they started doing deals coming back to me. And I still have ladies to this day that say that are off fix and flipping and doing their best life saying, because of you, this changed the trajectory of my life. This changed the trajectory of my kids' life. They could go to any school they want. We don't worry about bills anymore. I have screenshots of women saying how grateful they are. So that is why I coach, because yes, the money's great in real estate, but coaching and seeing your lives change really shift for me. Now, for the ladies who stayed on to this point, and men, I see a few men, we are going to give you an action plan. So this is an action plan that will let you write down the ideas. It will kind of give you some guidelines, but it will let you write down ideas, and it's broken down into phases. And if it says week 1, 2, and 3, I think we switched it, but if it says that, it's just because we have taught ladies how to get deals under contract in their first 30 days with us. But if that, you can break it down into your own timeline. So my team is going to put that into the chat for you to download. It's only available if you're live. So that means that if we are streaming, you guys can download that as well. And then Laura, we have a couple of bonuses, right? For people who book before we get off, and then we're going to jump into the Q&A.
Yeah, we forgot all about that.
I know, that's why I was trying to message her. She wasn't reading them. So I was like, okay, let me just say it myself. Let's talk about the bonuses.
Okay, so what the most valuable bonus, I think, is about, for the ones that of you that say, okay, we're going to do this, whatever level you are, it doesn't matter if you are at the beginner level or you can go into another level, we are going to do a game plan. So we're actually going to book a game plan where we customize the game plan to what you want to do. So we're going to take the checklist that you get into the training, and then with the checklist, wholesale, buy, hold, fix, and flip, we are going to develop a game plan based on your goals, your thing, and give you a timeline so you can see and you can take ownership of how this is going to evolve. So that is huge right there, because you're not just, okay, you're going to get onboarded, you're going to get information. We have some amazing people in the team that make sure all your questions are answered, but you're actually going to get on a call with me where I'm going to specify how your game plan is going to look like for you. So that's huge. So that's only if you book the call before we hang up. And the second one is, and I haven't even told the team, is whatever level you go in, doesn't matter, you're going to get a 20% discount. So, 20% discount on the coaching. So if you come in at the entry level, or you come in at another level for support, like I said, my goal is to get everybody started. And then as you start going out there with the right help, with the right guidance, you're going to start doing deals. And then eventually we have students that actually signed up to be with us for lifetime. We have a community. What does it mean? They'll be with us forever. Okay. So, they'll be with us.
Just like marrying into us and staying with us for life. They have
Right.
signed up to be coached for life.
So we offer for people that are within our community and they're doing deals, and we say, you want to stay with us for lifetime, because my goal is for have you guys build a community where you can help other women and support other women learn real estate as a way to change their life. So it's not just about me, Liz, or Maria. It's about you guys helping each other out and paying it forward. So we have a great community of lifetime students as well that have been with us. It will be for us as long as we are alive.
All right, so let's go into Q&A. If you're having issues with the times don't work for you, you can PM Doreen. Doreen and Chloe are on, and they can help you get booked at a time that's easier for you. So we'll do that. But Laura, let's jump into a little Q&A. I know we had some questions. If you guys want to repost them below so I don't have to scroll through everything, that'd be great. But what questions do you have? What is the cost of the program? Is it on your website? So we do not post the price because we don't know what you need yet. So we have different levels of programs depending on what you need. So like I said, schedule a call. We're going to talk. We need to figure out if we can help you. If we can't help you, we will direct you in a way that we will not take your money if we cannot help you reach your goals for whatever reason it could be. Maybe just so you know, we're residential coaches. Maybe you're interested in commercial, and stuff like that. So we will have a chat with you and then talking about that. After joining the program, how quickly has a student closed a deal? Okay, there's very different levels of questions on this or theories on this. I have seen deals close as soon as 3 weeks. The average is 2 months. Why? Because you have to learn, you have to get talking to people. And 6 weeks out is where your contract has to be dated for to go to closing, because you need time to find buyers if you're wholesaling, get financing. So all of our students are taught 6 weeks out from the time they put it under contract with the seller that they go to closing. So I like to be realistic and tell you around 2 to 3 months is when I see closings. You saw screenshots of people, 5 deals in 5 months. I challenged Liz. It was February. You saw it in the comment. and I had a deal that went to closing. I have a lot of students, but it's also on your level of commitment. Are you listening to us when we coach you? Are you getting on the calls? Are you talking to us? Are you listening to what we say are quick wins and doing that? Are you asking the coaches questions? Are you putting in the effort? So there's a lot of variables in there. So Shay, I'm going to assume you're a go-getter. So when you join, right, you're going to have a kickoff call. You're going to have your pre-training done by that point. It's all the basics, the foundation, setting up LLCs, finding your area, getting agents, yada, yada, yada. It's all that. So that when you do your kickoff call, you're going to hit the ground running with getting leads under contract within the first 14 to 21 days. Then you're going to put it under contract in about 6 weeks from now. Now, how did people close deals in 3 weeks or less? My first deal was in 3 weeks or less. How did I do that? The house was vacant. So that helped because I was there. It was one of those weird off scenarios where there was also no liens that I had to negotiate. And my buyer came in cash. Okay. So when he came in cash, he could close as soon as a week. So it is possible. I've seen other students do it, but I don't like to give unrealistic expectations. Okay. What I'm gonna ask you guys questions now because I don't want to hog it all. What is the monthly cost of marketing for leads?
Well, I mean, if you're new, and I assume most of you are new here, one of the things we do is we get to go with what we call the quick wins. The quick wins don't cost any money to get going, and that's what they do. They give you the quick win. The good thing about it is that you work also with people that are already needing to sell instead of just wanting to sell. Eventually, as you start making money, then you can invest more in the automation and the system and the long nurture of getting leads selling autopilot. Like I was talking to a student today, and she was telling me, she's like, I want to get more into the long nurture of things. And I was like, well, let's do a quick win or two right now to get the cash. And then you're going to take some of the money to hire the VA and get the systems in place to do the long nurture. So to answer your question, if you're new, you want to get going, you don't have to spend any money. It's more about knowing what to do and where to get those quick wins leads, and then take the money, invest into a system so you can set that more on automated pilot.
How is wholesaling low investment compared to others?
Because you really don't need anything. The only thing you need with wholesaling is a phone and a computer. And I've had students actually that didn't even have a computer, had to go to the library, use the computers until they could afford one. So, and most people have a phone. So that's all you need to get going. So that's why it's low investment. It's about really how to structure the deal. Timing is of the essence, and you're just selling contracts. You're not selling properties.
Next question is given the softening market, what are your strategies for long-term holds?
Maria, you want to answer this since you are out there buying properties like they're going out of style?
It's actually great because while the prices to purchase the properties are softening, the rental market is actually going up. So actually, you can find this in the news as well, where they're talking about a renter's nation. That's where we are going, because where interest rates are, lots of people cannot buy houses, and therefore actually rents are going up. So you're in a situation where you're going to be buying at a lower price than you would have, say, a couple of years ago, but you're going to be able to cash flow more. Now, if you are wholesaling rental properties, say multifamilies, then again, it's going to be a benefit to you because landlords buy based on rental, on cash flow, but you're going to be buying based on the fact that sellers are more motivated. So this is a fantastic to buy rentals. That's why I'm focused on that. I've done all kinds of deals, from fix and flips to wholesaling. I've done hundreds and hundreds of deals. But the reason I'm focused on rentals right now is because we're in a golden opportunity for rentals. So
Definitely.
yeah.
Shay, we will talk about what everything is. The program that we presented is our signature one. You are getting on calls with other students as well, but we will talk about different, depending on the level that you need, Shay, or want. We can talk about that during the call.
Yeah, we have
you get to
different
meet with
coaches doing different things as far as calls, but yeah, Doreen can explain that to you when you get on the call with her.
Yeah. Okay, so this is kind of long. What's the order? I can get a house under contract. I find a buyer. The house needs some remodeling. Can I get the buyer to close so that I have the money to remodel? How does that work? I think she wants to fix and flip.
Okay. Maria, you want to answer that one?
Sure. Basically, you're describing two things. If you wanted to fix and flip, then you wouldn't necessarily sell it to a buyer before you fix it. It's rare to find somebody that would want that. What you would want to do is basically find money. You can use other people's money, and it doesn't have to be expensive. You could get a partner. There are so many ways. We actually have an entire course dedicated just to private lending and different types of financing for that reason. So money should never be a reason not to do deals. So let's be clear on that. But basically what you do is you buy a property, just like in a wholesale deal from a motivated seller. It requires a lot of repairs. You get the money to purchase the property and do the repairs. We teach you how to calculate what that price is so that you make money at the end, because fix and flips is where a lot of people lose money because, again, they don't have the right support. And then you put it on the market and you resell it to an end buyer. Those are the people that will always pay more for properties. And even though this is what I want to be sure to make clear, even though the market is softening, home buyers, we tell you what price to price things at so that you can get a lot of buyers competing for it and you can still make all the money you're supposed to be making. So when we talk about softening market, we're talking about people that are motivated, they need money. And we're talking about sellers. This is never going to be your problem. You're always going to sell where you need to sell to make all the money that you plan on making. So that it becomes, guys, I always think about this because I've been in real estate for a long time, and differently from Laura, I did have a lot of coaching along the way because I wanted acceleration. And I can tell you that you're going to learn to do deals one way or the other when you're in real estate. And you're gonna pay it one way or the other. Either you get coaching and you get hand holding basically through these deals, or you're gonna make mistakes. Because I can tell you, flips are very dangerous, risky if you don't know what you're doing. But if you know what you're doing, they're like clockwork lump sums, huge lump sums that come in. I started as a flipper actually in 2007, and I have done so many flips. Let me tell you, the checks are nice. So
yeah, they are.
Now, any questions about the cost, the plans, and everything else, please schedule a call. I don't want to confuse a lot of people here. And like we have different plans, we even have options where you can use Klarna and Affirm. So, the thing is, the best thing is to book a call and we'll do it, because that's the thing, by the way, don't get stuck on the cost. The cost is irrelevant. If the first deal is going to pay for that, in some cases, many times over, what is it? It's a skill that you're going to learn: real estate investing, wholesaling, rentals, whatever it is. This will be you for a lifetime. How many of you have spent money in going to school or taking courses or whatever, and you have got nothing or very little in return? That's not the case with real estate. So don't get hung up on the cost. Trust me. Most of you can afford this, but the thing is, do you want to afford it? Do you want to do this? That's something that comes from you. And then, like I said, we have different plans, different entry points. You can start at one point and work your way up, or if you feel like you need more hand holding, we can talk about that. We have Klarna, we have Affirm, so don't let that hang you up for the ones that always ask us questions. And as far as different program, like I said, we have different. We need to talk to you to see what you want to do. Do you want to wholesale? Do you want to rent? Do you want to do both? Where are you in your life? What type of hand holding? How much time do you have available to get into this? So this is all stuff that we can't cover here for everybody. So book the call, and Doreen will love to explain to you and get more into that, and then get you from there.
All right, so I'm going to take a couple more questions because I just look at the time. We're well past our time on, but and I know my team probably wants to get going too. So let's talk. Let's see. How are you using AI in your current system? So I am working with someone to build them to cold calls. Some of my students are already doing this because this company spoke at a retreat. I have VAs, but I keep losing them to pregnancy. So I just lost my second VA to having a baby. So I was like, you know what? I'm tired of redoing it. So I am actually using this company to make the cold calls for me using the AI. Other ways is they can help you with tasks, automation, branding, as far as like They can help you with social media and things like that. There's a lot of ways that AI that I haven't even gone to get totally into yet, but it's on my like I'm excited to do in the next 30 days list of figuring out the best ways. But what it is doing, and that's sad because it is removing jobs, but it's making it easier for those of you who have low entry barriers of money to be able to still run your business while you're working and doing things. So there's a lot of cool ways to include AI, but because of time, I'm going to keep moving into questions because we're kind of running out of time. Laura, rolling off these questions, do I have to pay for wholesale contracts in order to sell them? It's a weird worded question, but I think I know what she's trying to say. I think she means, does she have to like cover it, the seller's end? So in some states, this is what I'm assuming. Some states you can use end buyers funds, or you could in other states like Pennsylvania, because I've done a few deals in Pennsylvania, you have to use transactional funding where the funding comes in and will fund it with the seller when you have an end buyer in place, and then you pay them out of profits. So no, wholesaling is beautiful because you don't have to upfront your own money with the seller at closing. Is fast track wholesaling one of the tiers? Yes, it's one of the entry level tiers. It's not the one we talked about tonight. What is a good title company to work with for the buyer market in Florida? Try All About Closings. Tell them RAIW, Liz from Real Estate Investing Women sent you. They're in Deerfield Beach. They do all of Florida. It's called All About Closings. Try to get through as much. Do you have people that can help you set up the business legally? Yes, we do. Great. We got them through them all. I thought we had more. Did I miss any? Hold on, let me scroll back up.
Shay asked, so will our first deals be closed with no money out of pocket? If you're doing wholesaling strategy, then yes. You might need $10. That's what we use for earnest money. That's it.
You can borrow that. That's how broke I was. Laura gave me the $10 on my first EMD earnest money deposit to tie up a contract, and she fronted me the $125 to open up my LLC. So you can borrow. I think you can probably get $10. But yes, I mean, and I don't say that's your situation. I'm just saying that was my situation when I started. So that should show you that we teach free. Now we do teach ways that cost money that might be more efficient, that might save you time, like, AI stuff and things like that you got to set up. So yeah, but if you choose, I don't want to put money into this just yet, then we will teach you the free ways as well, which is a lot of what we consider our quick wins.
But like, Maria said earlier, you're going to spend money one way or the other, either by doing mistakes or like me, not knowing what I was doing and letting forego so many deals that I would have made so much money. So the thing is, this is a business that can make a lot of money, but like any business, you need to know what you're doing. And the thing is trying to figure out on your own. Yeah, you might get there, you might not, and you might get scared out of the business. I can tell you right now, there's so many people that go out there and watch YouTube and everything else. And at the end of the day, when it comes a deal, I don't know if you ever know, but when you go to school, right, you get ready for an exam. And when the exam shows up, you feel like you forgot everything. This is what happens with a lot of people. They go through all the training, they feel strong. As soon as the first contract shows up, it's like, I was looking at the contract today. Somebody sent over for me to look over, and I'm like, did you go through the training? And I was like, yeah. So that's in the training, but it was like a deer caught in the headlight. I was like, oh my God, they forgot everything now that the rubber meets the road, right?
Well, and
that's what we're here for, to make sure that you have the confidence to move forward.
And one of the things we work on that we have a weekly call on is mindset. And if you've ever gotten on the public call, you know how good these are. So we had a student just recently. She's been in the program for a while, but she wasn't really doing anything. So finally she did something. She's like, oh my God, I got something on contract, but I have no idea what to do next. She's been through the training like 5 times, just wasn't taking action. So finally she took action, and she's like, I froze. I have no idea what to do. I did this too, by the way. The first deal I did, I was sitting, when I got accepted, I was on a hop on, hop off bus in San Francisco, and I was sitting next to Laura, and we were there for an event. I was her assistant at the time. And I looked at her and I said, they signed it. Now what? And I froze. Like I had no idea what to do, even though I'd gone through the training, wrote down the steps 5,000 times and all of that. So it's nice to have people there that's like, this is what you do. This is what you do next. Now, the reason we're going to close out here. The reason we brought the mindset calls in is about a year and a half ago, I went through every single student we had in the previous year. Okay, this was the end of the year. And I was like, okay, who did deals, who didn't? What did it come down to? What do you think it came down to? The whole reason I made a call. Mindset. They either got out of their own way and started applying themselves because they were listening and they were getting the help they needed and they were able to overcome their fears or even get just a spark of inspiration. Or they gave into their fears. They kept telling themselves they couldn't do it. They wouldn't get on the phone if that was their choice. They weren't doing the things they needed to do and they couldn't get over it. So then I started implementing mindset calls every week to help you overcome your fears. And I had literally, we went from like, I would say 2 out of 5 students who weren't doing anything, doing like moving around, to 5 out of 5 students being able to move forward and start taking action. And it was like a literally overnight, because sometimes all you need to hear is you're not crazy, or all you need to hear is I got you. You're not alone in this. Because investing can be a lonely business if you don't have a community to bounce ideas or if a deal falls through. So I wanted to share that because I feel like a lot of one of the students who had been with us for several years, that you actually saw some of her testimonials, she said they don't do this anywhere else. They don't teach heavily on, thank you, Amanda. They don't teach heavily on mindset. They don't teach on keeping it strong and things like that. So I really wanted to talk about that too. So Laura, let's repeat the bonuses real quick. We'll give them 4 more minutes to book their call, and then we are going to bounce. And I hope tonight was helpful.
We had so many people booking calls. I don't think there are many here left that I haven't booked yet. Most of you here have booked.
Still
And
give them
some of
4 minutes in case they were just like waiting.
And some of you are students, so you don't count. Or well, thank you for being here, our biggest cheerleaders. So
they count in the best way.
They count in the best. No,
them.
you count so much. Trust me, you count more than you know. And some of you I know have followed us forever before they became students. So I love you that you finally came to the other side. So the bonuses are, the first one is the personalized game plan. I cannot tell you how huge that is, because that is about really getting focused in, because you get the directions, the checklist and all four, but we're going to customize it for you. That's one thing. And the other thing is 20% discount. And I saw Liz's face when I said that, and it's just like, what? And 20% discount depending on whatever level you join in. Doesn't matter if you join at the entry level or the higher level. So, but that's only if you book here in the next. We're gonna leave the site on, I think, for a couple minutes for the last ones to book.
Till 9:45 Eastern time. That's 3 minutes for wherever you are in the US.
And then Chloe, if you guys can have our time joining, or I know we have pretty much the time spots are gone, a lot of them. So if you have a hard time,
we have 5 spots left, but we originally had opened 20. So
yeah, pretty much everybody was on the webinar booked. But anyway, that's great. It's great. I love it that you guys. I want to make sure that Doreen will be the nicest person you can talk to. She's very non-pressure and very laid back. And so she will.
I would like to know though takeaways. So for the ladies who are still on, you can jump off now as you needed. But what were your takeaways from tonight? What did you hear maybe that you haven't heard before, or what was like an aha moment for you? I'm giving him time to type. All right, best markets in Florida, right? I was kind of like, oh, what's going on over there? I love that it's very supportive. I will say I'm in a lot of coaching communities for coaches that coaches coaches. Okay, not real estate, that'd be messed up. But coaches who coaches coaches. And I don't see the level of support I see within my team. My team, my community, my students. Like, I am literally friends with my students. I love them. I know about their family. I know their kids' names. Like, one of my students I've seen 4 times in the last year because she's come to every event that we've hosted in person. Like, it's just, and she's not ever close. It's never close to her. You have a supportive team. I do. I love my team. I really love my team and my coaches. I love my coaches. Thank you, ladies, so much for having this session and sharing this vital information. I'm really encouraged and hope that we can work together, given we will work with you. I was originally thinking rentals, but now I'm thinking wholesaling. Come to the dark side. That's what I tell people. That's what I told Jimmy. And everyone gets mad at me. The coaches are like, no, get him into rentals. I'm like, no, come to the dark side to wholesaling. Just get the bug, make that really nice. The average deal for wholesaling, the average check is $10,000. Obviously, you've seen a lot more. My students are making more. Come to the dark side. side. We can get into rentals maybe in 10 years, like me, but we'll get there. But come to the dark side. I did wholesale.
Guys, we always joke around because the fact is, Laura and I have wholesale so many properties, so we're not in any way saying that you shouldn't be doing it. We just like to mess around with Liz.
They do. They give me a lot of crap.
But that's the beauty of it. You can do different things as you need. For me, I'm getting older. I need to think about retirement and I want to have passive income. That's all. But I still wholesale. I still do, you know, rehabs and whatever, you know, comes up. So
Yes, Maria and I and Laura have all worked together on a few deals to go to the dark side. Exactly. We've worked on a few deals ourselves, like together, and it's been amazing. So you have a lot of knowledge on the team. A lot in order to coach for RAIW, you have to actively be investing because there are people teaching stuff that aren't actively investing. And I had students that said, I know you do, besides the fact that we show it, they said, I know you do it because you're teaching stuff other people are scrambling still to learn. The only way you can do that is if you're actually investing. All right, we're going to jump off here. So I'm going to give 3 minutes because we went on a little longer. So I'll give you till 9:48, 3 more minutes Eastern time as well, so that you can do that. Mom, daughter, team, and the others. Yes, yes. We're a whole big family. We're all family. That's what we consider. And actually, my 2 sisters do work for the company. I'm one of 4. I have a brother. You'll never meet him. He's very quiet. He's like, you'll never see him. He does not come to the event. He gets so mad if I convince him to come for like dinner and people start like, who is that? Like, yeah, but other than
Yeah,
that,
but you know, we're pulling him to the dark side too, Liz, because him and his wife now ask me, says, we wanted to fix and flips. Can you help us? I was like,
coming in.
now,
coming in.
they want to start doing fix and flips. So I was like, sure. So
Awesome. All right, well, we're gonna get off because our earliest call starts at 9:15 tomorrow, so I want to make sure my team feels good enough to do that. But I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you learned a lot, and I look forward to getting to work with some of you. All right.
everyone,
Bye, everyone.
bye-bye.
bye. Good night, everybody.